Good day, this is Mass X bringing you another Bleach Immortal Souls video. I wanted to do a quick video on Kenpachi contest and Grand Battleground and touch upon who I feel are some of the best one-on-one characters currently in the game. Of course, this can always change every few weeks with new releases, but what I've found in playing and what have been just immensely productive for me for the last 60 days. I'm going to go probably through the most underrated ones first. First off, I have to say Shinji has turned into a beast with his rage reduction. I've watched him shut down so many characters during one-on-one battles that he's just been a blessing in disguise. I use on him a Warsaw Crippling. I find that to be really helpful, as well as the Warsaw Passism, because it has additional rage reduction. I've watched him beat numerous Aizens, who is probably one of the higher ranked ones in Kenpachi contest. I can't say enough good things about him, and that kind of goes hand in hand with some of the other ones, especially Zangetsu. Anybody with rage reduction teamed up against someone that is just murderous when they rage on you is great. Zangetsu does really well. I have found he's usually my 10th spot, and then when I go to the 3-on-3, sometimes I use him, sometimes I don't. It's a toss-up between him and Ichigo, marrying on what character I'm up against for those particular battles. But Zangetsu, I think, doesn't get the kudos he deserves. But him and Shinji and Ichigo for rage reduction against the ones you don't want to go against you, such as Aizen, such as Yamamoto, such as Kenpachi. When you want to keep those guys off of you so you can win, they're great counters, especially if you have them built up enough. With Zangetsu, I run on him usually a Warsaw Crimson and a Warsaw Vitality, because on top of the rage reduction, you want to keep that bleed going, so hopefully they'll die if you get them low enough. Probably my second favorite and underrated character is uliquiorra, the version 1 that's out right now. He is just a monster on Kenpachi contest individual combat. With his combo, deals damage to a single enemy, recovers 15% of the missing HP, and increases the 75% of the effect reduction rate for one round. Couple that with his Sero that deals damage and restores missing HP. He's just constantly rejuvenating himself, and I've watched him tear through multiple characters, especially on the 3-3, where I put him in second slot and I use an attacker for slot 1, especially if they have their best character in that first slot. When you get to the 3-on-3 portion, I let my attacker take them down, hopefully beat them. He may be beat on, and then this guy in second slot just cakewalks it for the next 2 usually. On Warsaws on him, I use Asura and Soaring. And anything defense-wise too works well with him. He's healing himself, get your blocks up. He's just going to last. Him and Shinji, to me, are the two most underrated for that Kenpachi contest. I use them now all the time. They're staples at this point. You know, the big boys are you know, everybody knows who's really good. I mean, Nell does amazing. She does just the the hard work. Kenpachi, I know a lot of people complain about him. They think he dies too quickly. You gotta just invest in him, and once you get him up, especially when you get his awakens up, especially the source of chaos, and get that HP up on him, he's just a beast. He just tears through people. As long as he can stay alive, he's you can't go wrong. I'm not a huge fan of Yamamoto. He does the job. His burning is what gets him by usually most of the time. But he in and of himself, I call him on one-on-one. I give him out of a 1 to 10, I'd probably give him a 7. Same with like White Ichigo. I give him about a 5 or a 6. To me, Aizen, he's a 10. Kenpachi's a 9. Nell's a 9. Shinji's a 9, in my opinion. Uliquiorra, I give him a 10, in my opinion. Him and Aizen are probably the best offensive and defensive in the Kenpachi contest, at least from what I found. But again, Zangetsu, I think he's a solid 8 when he's set up correctly. Urahara is good. His problem is doing enough attack damage. I think he falls into the 7 slot. He does a good job, slowly taking down a character, but a lot of times it's difficult for him to get the final kill, no matter on who he's up against. I'm trying to think who else. Outside of that, I really like Toshiro, but he has to be built in a defensive mode. If you build him defensively, I give him an 8. I use a War Soul of Armor on him and a War Soul of Evil. If you build him offensively, I don't think he does as well, especially in Kenpachi contest. But outside of that, you got to go with what you have. But to me, if you can run Nell, Shinji, Kenpachi, Yamamoto, and then if you have Aizen, if you have Uliquiorra, if you have Zangetsu, and then if you got to run some SSRs, which a lot of people do, Mayori's phenomenal. For an SSR, he does a good job. He stays alive, he rejuvenates, he poisons, does a good job one-on-one. I like him. I use him every so often in Kenpachi contest. But those are the ones I really recommend. I can't say enough about Nell, Shinji, Kenpachi, and Aizen and Uliquiorra. Those are hands down my favorites. Those are my staples, and then the other ones I kind of move around based on where they're at or who I'm playing against. But I would just throw a little video out, my 2 cents for what it's worth, which is basically nothing. But I know people ask every so often. They can see my videos. You can see the consistency in who I use. So you can probably learn from that who I like and who I don't. But I thought I'd just throw this together. If you got any suggestions or want anything else from me, let me know. Thanks again. Have a great day.